Bri has a drive that I haven't seen in many players that I've coached.
My first encounter with Bri, main thing that stood out was her work ethic.
Great players like Steph Curry, Kyrie, practice is practice, but you become a great player outside of practice.
Competitive. Energetic. Caring. Funny.
We're soaring, flying. There's not a star in heaven that we can't reach.
Passionate. Leader.
Bri Betz-White scored her 1,000th career point, becoming just the very first player in women's basketball history to accomplish this feat. And just the 6th player in Loyola history to score 1,000 points before their senior year. Today, we are Bri with the ball from that game.
She has dreams and aspirations of playing at the next level over in Europe. She's got everything that she needs right now to take it to the next level. The sky is the limit.
Me and my sister would sleep on the couch because we used to never sleep in our room. So the basement door, like we didn't close it, it was just open in the hallway. She comes down, she's trying to be quiet, she doesn't turn on the lights, she's rushing for work. And me and Ashley are like dead asleep on the couches. She runs into the door, like chips her whole front tooth off, starts cussing me and Ashley out for not closing the bedroom door. It's like 5:30 in the morning, so we're like, what the heck is going on? And then, so she's pissed at us all day. Her tooth is like gone. It's gone. Yeah. And then, so she leaves, and me and Ashley just start bugging, like, yo, you left the door open? You left the door open? So I leave it open. Did you leave it open? But that's one of my faves. My room, that was mom's room.
The other room, the 2 bedrooms are in the back. Oh, I remember. Did you remember? Hey, soul sister. When we were.
When Bri was born, as well as Ashley, I made a commitment to myself, and Ashley's her older sister. I made a commitment to myself that I would try to put them in the best position to be successful. Her mother and I made it a point to get both our daughters involved in athletics very early on, whether that was basketball, whether it was if they gravitated towards swimming, it could have been anything.
I basically followed everything that my sister did. So whatever sport she was playing, I wanted to play. She was playing soccer at the time, so I was playing soccer. And I was in swimming for a little bit, but I quit when my sister told me I was gonna have to compete against other people. But she quit soccer, and then I decided I wanted to quit soccer. She got into basketball, and I was like, I want to play basketball too. So that's how that all started.
Both of my girls basically came out of the womb wanting to play basketball. She grew up in the gym. Her older sister played from the time she was 5 years old, and so we've just always been in the gym, and she just grew to love it, and it became her passion.
out on the court, her spirit is 10 feet tall. Her commitment is 10 feet tall. Her heart is 10 feet tall.
Basketball is like a mental game. My dad always said, like growing up, like always believe you're gonna make the next shot. Even if you miss 50 in a row, like you always gotta believe the next shot's going in. When I was younger, I was above average of like all my peers. I would always play up. I would always have better ball handling skills. Like at that point, I was like, hey, I'm pretty good at this, so I guess I'll continue to play. And then I just developed a love for it, and it's gotten me places that I never thought I would be. My dad trained me like since I was young, so I owe like a lot of all my skill work to him. This one time at the gym, it was when I was younger, I was working on my left-handed layups. I could not get it for shit. I don't even know how many. It was like me and my dad were just there shooting left-hand layups for like hours. I couldn't get it, and then I made my first left-handed layup. My dad picks me up, puts me on his shoulders, runs around the gym. I'm like crying. I'm so happy. I'm like, I finally did it. But it was a rough process. Me and my sister lived with my mom majority of the time, and my dad lived across the river. So I guess damn near every day he would come pick me and Ashley up, drive back over, work us out. After we were done with our workout, he would take us back home, and we would repeat that like every day if we didn't have practice. Like during an off season or even after practices and stuff, he would pick me up from practice and we would go do another workout at the gym. But the role he played, I mean, he was probably more tough love. He definitely tried to just instill self-discipline in me. That your mental is like really important when overcoming certain obstacles.
I'm a big proponent on that if you can master the skill of discipline, I think that again is a force multiplier, and it'll help you transition that skill set into any area of life. So as far as the workouts, we would get up early in the morning. We would head over to the Friendship Center, which is a community center which had 2 basketball courts. And the workout predominantly was just about every skill set in terms of basketball, dribbling. Shooting. Footwork. Flexibility.
Yeah, good. I like it.
So it was sort of a cross-disciplinary approach in regards to how we worked out, but also I put a lot of emphasis on the mental aspect of the game, those things that you really can't measure, because I think those are very important. So again, from my standpoint, I really put a lot of emphasis on developing their skill and discipline, and also letting them know that more often than not, the person that's most committed ends up being the one that ends up being on top.
Bri Betz-White. We like to recruit in the Mid-Atlantic region. She played in Pennsylvania. I grew up in Philadelphia, so we're kind of partial to some Philadelphia and Pennsylvania kids. But the more you got to know her, part of it was position. We needed a point guard, and there were so many intangibles that she had. When you go to watch a kid play, sure, she could score the ball. She was a great defender, but the team she played on was a really good team. We have one of her teammates on our team as well. And I just think the energy and the passion and the enthusiasm that she played with was something that you wanted to be a part of your program. And the more research we did on her, that's what everybody came out and said, whether it was her guidance counselor, her high school coach, her club coach, other people that we called about her were, hey, listen, she's a good player, don't get us wrong, but she's an even better kid and she's fun to be around. And that, to me, has certainly been the case over her time here at Loyola.
I want y'all to do this dance now. Keep blowing that beat. Keep blowing that beat. Keep blowing that beat. Keep blowing that beat. Now slide, chop. Hit them for no stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. Hey, run a man on that beat. 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 Now do your dance, do your dance, do your dance. Hey. You ugly. You your daddy's son. Hey.
Secret admirer, I've been watching.
Kaylee, what's your fun fact Friday?
I had a hairless guinea pig named Rufus.
Hey Bri, what's your fun fact for Friday?
I just learned how to juggle.
Woo! Me and Kaylee tell everybody that we've been friends since basically we were born, but we really became friends in high school. But when we first met, our middle school teams played against each other, so I played for St. Teresa's, she played for St. Catherine's. It was rival schools or whatever. Her and her sister, Michaela, were the Gale Balls. Everybody knew the Gale Balls. They're nice, whatever, so I hated playing them because they were hyped up. I was like, they not nothing, we gonna beat them. I think we beat them one time too. It was a good ass game. We won at the buzzer, foul shots. Anyway, so Kaylee texted me. I don't know where she got my number from, but she texted me after one of our games and was like, hey, good game. And I'm like, who is this? So she was like, it's Kaylee Gelball or whatever. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? And then she was like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm watching Avatar. And she was like, that didn't even come out yet. And I'm like, yeah, I got it on bootleg. And ever since then, we've just became friends, and I would spend days over at her house. And I mean, she was a basketball ball is life head too. So I mean, we clicked on that. She committed to Rider, and then I had told her that I committed here. And then there was a couple other reasons why she decided to decommit from Rider, but then she called up coach and was like, I decommitted from Rider, I want to come here now or whatever, and he was ecstatic and I was ecstatic. I'm like, me and my best friend about to go to the same school, so we had our signing party together at the Friendship Center. The news came, all our friends, family, teammates came, and then we started our journey off here together.
Bri Betz-White.
I definitely have modeled my game after my sister, first and foremost. We both rocked the same number in college. In middle school, I was actually number 15. And then when I got to high school, I wanted to be 15 again, but my sister was a senior when I was a freshman, so I couldn't take her number. And at that period in time, John Wall was really popular. So I got number 11, and that just kind of carried with me throughout high school and college. And it's funny because then when my sister went to college, number 15 was taken, so then she got number 11. NBA players that I look up to are Kyrie Irving. I mean, I low-key have a crush on him. Hey, boo. But I think what gravitated me towards him was I just loved, I could be in the gym and just do ball handling drills all day and never shoot. And I just think he's so crafty with the ball, and the way it just looks like he has it on a string, and the things that he does with it is just oh my God, I don't know, why can't I do that? But I think that's probably what gravitated me towards him the most. And plus, he's not, I wouldn't categorize him as a shooter, and I wouldn't categorize myself as a shooter either. I mean, I feel like we could knock down shots, open shots, kickouts and stuff like that, but he's probably like top 5 best finishers at the rim. What I liked about his game when he was like in his prime is he was real good at the teardrop. So, and that's like my favorite shot because I'm real small. So when I'm in there with all the trees, I got to be able to get my shot up. A lot of people think being tall is an advantage in basketball, but I think my height is an advantage just because like growing up, you always hear like low man wins, the low man wins. And I'm already low to the ground, so I'm all like, I think it's hard for defenders to guard me just because like they're not used to getting so low. I mean, I've always loved Michael Jordan. My dad would play like the VCR videos and we would just watch him all the time. He was so, like, it was just amazing the things that he could do. I like head tap. It's just like a high ball screen. But like me, like that's my game. Like I like coming off ball screens and making a play. Some random games will come up where like your shot's just on, like everything feels right. Like as soon as you let go of the ball, you know it's going in. Or like just your handle's tight, your defense is good, you're locked in. And unfortunately, I feel like that doesn't happen every single game. But the games that it does, it's just like, it's crazy to just feel like so like loose and like it's fun when you're in the zone because it's like nobody can guard me. And your teammates are hyping you up and it's just like a pretty cool feeling to know like people are supporting you. And you can't do it without your teammates either. My favorite moments are like either when like one of my teammates gets an and one and like we'll go and like chest bump and like get mad hype, or like we just go on like a crazy run and it's like just we're getting steals and assists and everybody's like high-fiving, chest bumping, like screaming at each other. Then we like say the other team calls a timeout because we just went on an 8-0, 10-0 run or whatever. The bench runs out on the court like, let's go! I'm just like really competitive, like a lot more competitive than the average person maybe. I'm definitely really vocal out there on the court in practices, and I'm not really afraid to speak my mind.
As a coach, you always appreciate the kid that's going to go through a wall for you and do everything they can to make themselves better, make their teammates better, and then make the team better collectively. The biggest thing is to focus on competition for her. She is her biggest competitor, so sometimes you have to compare her to whoever her opponent is that's across from her. You know, you always have to kind of use reverse psychology and make her seem like someone else is going to get the best of her. That kind of gets her fired up a little bit. She doesn't like to be on the losing side of things. So if you tell her that someone else is better than her, or you know, is going to kind of beat her up a little bit, she takes offense to that and kind of shows up to play every game. What makes Bri special as a coach are a couple things. As coaches, you'll say this all the time, like they get it. And you can't really say, well, what is it? And that's a hard thing to explain, but she gets it. She understands what needs to be done, when it needs to be done. I think her competitiveness. You know, these guys today in club basketball, they're playing so many games over the summer that winning and losing, it's important, but some of these kids will play 100 games in the summer. Well, you only play 120 games over your time in college. So she gets the competitiveness, she gets the importance of every game. I think she values her experience. And then all the intangibles. So things you don't really see, you know, when she's playing, she's asked to guard the other team's best player. And those are things that don't show up on the stat sheet, but that are vitally important to us winning. She has the ball all the time, and as a point guard, certainly for me, that's a tough position to play. If she's not playing well, pointing out, hey, this is why you're struggling. You know, you shot 32% last night, you shot 20%, you had 5 turnovers. And she knows that, and she's gonna be harder on herself. But when we watch video and saying, look, here's where you're better than that. You know, here's where you made the mistake. And once she sees it, she can correct it. Bri has a lot of internal motivation for herself to be the best that she can be, but I also know that her sister was a Division I basketball player as well, and I think, you know, she has some internal competition with her sister, who was a very, very good player at Old Dominion University, and I think also her parents. You know, I know her dad was also a student athlete. He was a football player. But I think the main thing for her is she just wants to be the best that she can be. She doesn't compare herself to a lot of people, you know, but she wants to be Kyrie Irving. Right now, that's a big thing for her, and unfortunately, he's injured as well. But I think, you know, her big thing is she wants to be the best version of herself possible, and I know that she does possibly have some aspirations to play overseas, and she knows that she can't do that if she doesn't put her best foot forward all the time.
1-7.
Get back on the whiskey, Virginia black, I'm tipsy. I'm in LA like I'm Nipsey. Spanish girls wanna kiss me, wanna come and diss me.
Bri has a drive that I haven't seen in many players that I've coached. You want all players to have that type of internal drive or passion, but she is someone I think that it stands, you can see it and you feel it when you're working with her. She just wants it every single day. She's always asking for extra workouts. Really focusing on her handle. She loves the skills, wanting to have the best handle that she can. She will say herself her least favorite thing is shooting. She is a very good shooter. She actually, from sophomore year to junior year, she developed a kind of hitch in her shot.
It was like a Lonzo Ball kind of shot. So my dad, it was like sophomore summer, I was home. He was like, we gotta get in the gym, we gotta, you know, get back to basics, we gotta fix your shot.
The process was fairly easy, more so than I thought it would be. So the area that I focused on was more or less squaring her feet, squaring her midsection, and squaring her shoulders. Once her shoulders got square, it automatically forced her to bring the ball over to the right-hand side. And then after that, it was just repetition. Repetition over and over and over and over again. But after a while, once she started to develop that muscle memory, it just became automatic at that point.
And I can see it in my head over and over and over again. I was hoping that it wasn't going to be as bad as it was, but it was. And I think like there was a little bit of energy that left us.
In the moment, I was like really defeated because I knew, like when it happened, I was like, I'm gonna be out, they're not gonna let me play. But I wanted to play even though they weren't gonna let me. And then I kind of like settled down and I was like, all right, I'll sit out these games. I'll wait till I can come back. And then I came back and then I hurt my shoulder. And then my coaches were like, you might as well just like redshirt. You're not gonna be healthy. You're not gonna play the way you wanna play. It's gonna be tough on your mental. Watching them call the starters, watching them play the games, watching them practice, it was really, really hard. And then you kind of start to feel like a little bit of disconnect from the team because you're really not in the blood, sweat, and tears with them. I found difficulties in figuring out like what I really wanted to do, like what was my purpose, because I felt like basketball was who I was.
Coming into Loyola, right as the basketball season started, actually, official practice is when I actually arrived. So I did not know any of Bri's history. I learned quickly that she was coming off of a knee scope. She wasn't healing and recovering very well. She was really trying to be patient and really struggling through the rehab. And just hit a wall with her recovery, and with that, you know, I come in. I've learned real quick how to get under Bri's skin by putting her through something that she doesn't want to do and making her finish it. It's easy as a coach when you see a player studently frustrated with the drill that you might put them through and say, okay, hey, we'll get back to that, or you know, trying to change it up for them to have success. I've noticed with Bri that I can keep pushing through. She might kick a ball up in the stands or throw a ball at the end of the court, or just kind of have to take a big deep breath and walk away. And when she comes back in, man, she's locked in and she gets it. But I I keep pushing that envelope with her, as we kind of say, raise the bar a little bit.
She's really outgoing, but she's also a really deep person, and she's had a lot of things happen to her. So I've come to learn that she's overcome a lot of obstacles. She's a really, really, really strong person, and through all that, she remains super positive, which I just really admire that. I had to just take some me time and figure out what I really like, what I don't like, what I want to do in life. I still have no idea, but I know that if basketball is not the road that I'm supposed to go down, I'm not completely going to be lost.
Basketball has brought her a lot of things. She's able to go to a great school such as Loyola, have fantastic coaches as well. So it wasn't just basketball, it was a lot of things that basketball could do for her that I don't think she would have had the opportunity to do without basketball.
Athletes in general don't really get to study abroad because people go abroad during the year, but it was really cool that Loyola offered the opportunity to go abroad in the summer and paid for it. So I took advantage of that and I went. And it was so cool. The culture is so cool over there. I was definitely out of my comfort zone. I was so excited when I got there at first, but my Spanish isn't really good, but our host mother does not speak any English at all. So the first maybe 2 weeks, I was really trying to converse with her in Spanish, and then I got really discouraged in my Spanish 2 class because I felt like everybody in the class was so fluent, and I was I have no idea what anyone's saying. And then eventually we had to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner with our host mom. Eventually I would just start talking in English and just gave up on Spanish. And then after I got a 91 on my midterm, I got hype again, and then I started talking Spanish again. But the culture is really cool. Really like siestas, which is you just nap in the middle of the day. We took full advantage of those. And I think they just live life a lot more simple out there, which I really like. I'm not really into materialistic things. They're just kind of happy with the things that they do have. They're not really motivated by money per se. So they're not always trying to have the newest and latest and greatest thing. But they're happy with their families. They're happy with the things that they have. When I went to Spain, I met Ali Best, and we became really good friends. And she was at that time, she was a part of the BSA exec board and stuff. So I kind of got involved then, but before then, I went to the fashion show the year before, and I was this is so dope, I'm gonna do it next year, I'm gonna do it. And then the time came when they did casting calls or whatever, and I actually missed the casting calls, but they emailed me because I was talking about it. They were if you wanna do it, just send us a video of you walking. And I'm all right, bet. So I did that. They were okay, you can be in our scene. And I was so nervous at first. I didn't know how to catch the beat when I was walking and kind of attack it the way I would attack basketball. Because even last night I was in the room and had my roommates gathered around. I was teach me, perfect my walk. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. And I just kept walking. They were oh my God, Bri, it's fine. But yeah, I definitely practice in the mirror and try to perfect it. Try to ask other people on my scene to teach me how to do all this stuff.
Hush not, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up toward your destination, though you may find from time to time complication. And take the trip. Though there may be wet road ahead and you cannot slip, just move on up. For peace you'll find into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. now, child, and don't cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Move on up and keep on wishing. Remember your dream is your only scheme, so keep on pushing. Take nothing less than the supreme best. Do not obey rumors people say, but you can pass the test. Just move on up to a greater day.
It was a lot different, definitely out of my comfort zone. I never did anything like that before, and I was really glad I did do it. I made a lot of good friends, met a lot of really cool people, and I feel like I kind of just like attacked it like a game. And I would even like sometimes get our scene group together and huddle up and be like, let's go, it's game day, baby. So it was cool to like act like it was a game situation, and then you can't see anybody or hear anybody. But it was like a really fun experience, and I would probably do it again next year.
Try to be strong.
What?
Try to be strong.
I am strong.
She incorporates a lot of different stuff, like agility working, band work, things that like people don't really look at as something you should work on, like initially. But she really puts in like the core groundwork first, and then like I'll be quicker, like I'll have a quicker first step now when I'm trying to do a certain move.
Very few student athletes at this level in women's basketball actually watch basketball on TV. And she's one that I have found that as actually she watches Kyrie Irving. She's trying to emulate those skills on the court. And so here I am, the new assistant coming in. I've really enjoyed working with her, with her passion, her dedication to be great. As far as Bri being the leader on and off the court, that's something that we've actually really talked a lot about since I've arrived here. You know, Bri is so focused on her being the best player, which that's easy for her to do. She loves to work out. She loves to come up here and get, you know, ball handling workouts, shooting workouts with myself and Jenna, the other assistant coach. But I've really tried to, now that Bri has been able to step away and kind of watch from a different perspective, is really focus in on that leadership stuff. I think she's a good leader, and I think next year she can be a great leader. Using this year to learn some of those things, those intangible things that when you're playing, you just kind of flow through it. You just go through the emotions in a positive way, go through the motions. But now that she's being able to step away, seeing the game from a different perspective, seeing her teammates from a different perspective, I think that's only going to enhance her leadership next year.
Her story is pretty amazing. Our freshman year, the doctors told her that she was probably like never going to be able to play basketball again. All that she's overcome, and then like her last few games of the senior year, she helped the team tremendously. So I think she went out with a pretty big bang. You always want to see your best friends doing good. I mean, I don't know it word for word. I should, but I don't. It's like there's always probably gonna be a bigger house than the one you got. Probably gonna be a better bitch there out there on the tours. Somebody gonna have fresher clothes than the ones you rock, but you ain't never gonna be happy till you love yours. So I really, just that verse right there, it really was like, that's like, it's true. Like, you're never gonna be happy. You're always gonna be comparing your life to somebody else's life. You're never gonna be happy until you just appreciate the blessings that you have. And I think that really, just at that moment, it really spoke to me, because I think I was in a point in my life where I was always like, why can't I look like this, or why can't I be like this, or whatever. And like, I just heard the song and I was like, I'm so blessed. I have so many blessings in my life. Like, I love me, I love myself, I love everything I have. And then I feel like now that I have the tattoo, it's just a reminder. You know, when I start to, like, my mind starts to drift off in those areas, you know, it's just a little, like, look down and be like, you know what, I'm good.
As competitive as she is, she beats herself up and she's really hard on herself after we lose. It's giving her that perspective, like, okay, yeah, we lost the game, but we played really well. They were a little better than us tonight. And understanding that, you know, you're not always going to win everything you do in life. But if you did your best, you played your best, you prepared your best, you did everything you could, then you can live with that result, if that makes sense. And then just understanding that it's about more than basketball. You know what I mean? For her, certainly this year, I say also, you know, health is happiness. And I think she's realizing, yeah, you know, she's injured right now and she wishes she could play, and that gives her tremendous perspective as you move forward. And, you know, maybe your Starbucks coffee isn't that warm, you know what I mean? Or maybe you didn't get into the class that you wanted. But in the big picture, that's okay. You know, life will go on, and there's still a lot of positives that you can draw from. And that's what I think is going to help her next year. When there is a little bit of a setback, or we do have maybe a bad game, I think she's going to understand where that game might fit on the big spectrum of our season and of life.
At the end of the day, I just hope she had fun. As a student athlete, it's very overwhelming. And I think something that we try and tell them all the time, like, this should be fun. If it's not fun, then something's wrong there. Bri can get frustrated when we're doing workouts if she messes up something simple. She really wants perfection. And I kind of feel like that's a theme that I just kind of keep talking with her. Like, it's never going to be perfect, but it's how you bounce back from those mistakes. And that's on and off the court. That's a life lesson right there. So trying to get her to take a deep breath when she makes you know, the wrong move, or she's missing 5 in a row. She can't find that rhythm. Take a deep breath, step back, look at the picture, and then come back into it, knowing that you can do it.
She's a very intelligent young woman. She's in the most formative years of her life, and this is kind of where life really begins to start to take its hold. And I think, you know, I want her to enjoy everything that she's doing, especially because it will come to an end at some point. But I think the biggest thing for her is to just, success is going to be based off of you. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Do what you can, and as long as you're happy and you feel like you left it all out there, nothing else matters.
Bri has a bright future ahead of her. She's very goal-oriented. She's very determined to be excellent on the court and in the classroom. As far as life lessons go in teaching Bri, she's asked about my career. I don't share my career a lot unless they ask, you know, the players ask. But, you know, she has dreams and aspirations of playing at the next level over in Europe, and I think that's a great goal for her. I've shared some of my experience with her, but I think the sky's the limit. She's very focused and determined to be a great basketball player, and that's half the battle is getting them in the court, in the gym, working on their skills outside of practice. Great players like Steph Curry, Kyrie, practice is practice, but you become a great player outside of practice, and that's where Bri has that determination to be. I think sky's the limit for her. I mean, she's got everything that she needs right now to take it to the next level and achieve her goals as a senior next year and lead this team. She has some great individual goals that, I hope to only be around to see them achieve, but also kind of help be a part of that. But it's going to be all on her. I'm just here along for the ride.
What do you love most about Bri?
Her smile and her just outlook on life. She's fun, she's energetic, and I think she lights up a room. I don't think there's a person that knows her that doesn't think that she's amazing.
I've watched Bri, not only Bri, but my oldest daughter, transition through this whole process. And in a million years, if someone could have asked me, how would you see the script ending as far as basketball is concerned, and just basketball, I could have never imagined it being the way it is in a million years. It's a perfect script in my mind. They have done more than I ever expected in terms of basketball. Without basketball, put that aside, I feel like I'm the luckiest father in the world. But as far as her possibilities after basketball, again, back to our dialogue when her and I have conversations, when we're practicing, the sky's the limit for her. Anything she wants to do, if she puts her mind to it, she stays committed. She can do anything she wants to do. And sometimes I just sit back and watch. And as a father, you would think you want to inspire your kids, but the reverse has happened. Sometimes when I'm out there watching her, she inspires me. So.
My dad always saying, that hard work gonna pay off. It's gonna pay off.
Amen. Amen.
Bri, as I told you before, and I'll tell you again, and I'll tell you if you ask me again, that hard work will pay off.
Pick your poison, I'm all in, and I'm free falling. My mind crawling with these callings, like I should be balling instead of block bombing, black charming, no diamonds. Trying to make a meal with this rhyming, perfecting my timing. Steady downhill climbing. Remember broke days when money couldn't be borrowed. My cousin brought blood out them trees like Sleepy Hollow. Till he got hit with them hollows, taking sip from his life. Like how deep is this swallow? Including these wild hoes, lost words. Like how deep is the Bible? Jack Sparrow. Yeah, that's so deep. So pardon me, the love keeps blessing me. Just trying to live comfortable. My back was some luxury. Balenciaga down with Jordan 3. Constantly stepping and repping. And the girl they P is destined. Just trying to cop a watch before a hater leaves me necklace. That's the meanest. Pops incarcerated. I barely seen him step there at any given Sunday. Really beaming. Last chance of a young boy plotting and scheming. Fell asleep on these streets. That's cause of who dreaming. I'm God's gift. This flow will leave you nauseous and car sick. Puncture wounds from my pen for thinking I'm harmless. A kamikaze couldn't bomb this. To be honest, I'm beyond this. Back up off the ropes, squeezing this game tight like when the fiend grab his dope. Listen to whack bars got me provoked. Hookah flows cause they blowing smoke. Looking at young Camp like this gotta be a joke. I know I'm the X Factor, casting card, no acting. A law you can't practice. I'm war spell backwards.
She drove me to school. And she would leave for school at like 6:30 in the morning and be cussing at me like, hurry up, we're gonna be late. And I'd be like, yo, you don't have to be in homeroom till 8.
On and on and on and on and on and on and yeah, yeah. On and on and on and on and on and on and amen, amen.